I don't normally make videos like this. Most of the time, I'm showing you places, experiences, food, culture. But this time, I want to slow things down. Because after years of travel, the airports, the cities, the quiet corners of the world, I've realized it's not just about where I've been, it's about what those places taught me. And honestly, I think it's important to talk about that. When I first started traveling, I thought I had a good grasp of the world. I grew up with a certain rhythm, the way we eat, speak, dress, celebrate, complain. I assumed it was more or less the same everywhere. Maybe with different languages, sure. Different weather, definitely. But deep down, I thought people mostly lived the way I did. Then I stepped out of my bubble, and the illusion shattered. Landing in places that didn't follow the same rules, seeing people live full lives with different values, beliefs, and priorities, it was humbling. I met families who ate dinner at midnight, markets that opened before sunrise and closed by noon, entire towns where nobody owned a car, countries where time felt like a suggestion, not a schedule. I saw joy in the simplest routines, drinking tea on a rooftop, praying in quiet corners, cooking the same dish every day with pride and care. Things I'd never paid attention to before suddenly seemed meaningful. Travel doesn't just show you new things, it reveals how small your perspective has been. You realize that your version of normal isn't universal, it's just familiar. And once that clicks, the world opens up. You stop judging so quickly. You start asking more questions. You become curious instead of critical. I used to think I had to have an opinion about everything. But travel showed me the value of listening, observing, absorbing. Some things don't need your reaction, they just need your respect. You learn to say, I don't know, without shame. You learn that your way isn't the best way, it's just one way. That's what travel taught me first. The world is so much bigger than your bubble, and the more you explore it, the more you realize how little you've seen, and how much more there is to learn. It's both humbling and exhilarating. And once you feel that shift, you never quite see the world, or yourself, the same way again. One of the biggest surprises I discovered while traveling was just how kind people can be. Before I left home, I heard all the warnings. Don't trust strangers. Be careful who you talk to. Always watch your back. And yes, you should be aware and stay safe. But what I found, time and time again, was the exact opposite of what I expected. There were moments when I was completely lost. Standing on a quiet street in a foreign country with no internet, no map, and no clue where to go. And somehow, without speaking the same language, someone would appear, a hand on the shoulder, a few gestures, a smile. I've had shopkeepers walk me to bus stops. Locals insist I join them for dinner, and strangers pay my fare when I didn't have the right currency. I once arrived in a town late at night with nowhere to stay. A taxi driver called his cousin, who called his neighbor, who opened her home to me for the night. She didn't know me, didn't owe me anything, but she offered tea, food, and a place to sleep, all with a warmth that felt like family. That kind of generosity can't be explained. It can only be felt. It reminded me that people everywhere, despite different backgrounds or beliefs, often share the same core values. They care, they help, they look out for one another. And most of them aren't looking for anything in return. They just want to do good, and maybe be seen for it. Travel stripped away the fear that the world is full of danger. Sure, bad things can happen, but the truth is, kindness is far more common. It doesn't always make headlines, but it's out there, in every country, every culture, every street. I carry those acts with me, not just as memories, but as reminders. That kindness is powerful, that people, for the most part, are better than we think. And that maybe, just maybe, being open and trusting isn't weakness, it's strength. Before I started traveling, I had a plan for everything. I liked knowing what was next, where I'd be, what I'd eat, what time I'd arrive. It gave me comfort. But travel doesn't care about your plans. Flights get delayed, buses never show up, weather ruins your itinerary, people cancel, roads close. Things go wrong. And at first, I resisted. I tried to control it all. I got frustrated when things didn't go perfectly. I wanted to fix everything. But somewhere along the way, I stopped fighting it. I realized travel isn't about perfection. It's about presence. The best moments often come when plans fall apart, when you miss the museum but stumble into a street performance, when you take the wrong turn and find a quiet cafe full of locals, when you sit still, accept the change, and let life guide you instead of trying to steer every second. Travel taught me how to let go, not just of schedules, but of expectations, of pressure, of needing to do it right. It's a skill, to be okay with not knowing what's next. Once you embrace that, you begin to move through the world with more peace, more patience, and more appreciation. This mindset has followed me home. I've learned to breathe through delays, to smile at surprises, to adapt when life doesn't unfold how I imagined. And that shift from control to acceptance is something I never expected to learn from travel, but something I now carry with me every single day. In letting go, I found something better than certainty. I found flow. I found trust. I found the beauty in not needing to have all the answers, just the courage to keep moving forward. One of the most unexpected lessons travel taught me is the value of silence and stillness. In places where I didn't speak the language, I learned that connection doesn't always need words. A shared smile, a gesture, sitting in quiet beside someone. These moments often said more than conversation ever could. It taught me to be present, to notice, to feel instead of constantly narrate. The sounds of prayer at dawn, waves crashing on a quiet shore, or the hush inside a temple. These experiences left a deeper mark than anything I could post or explain. And then there were the moments when I felt truly lost, in unfamiliar cities, without a plan, unsure of where to go next. But what I realized is that feeling lost isn't the end, it's the beginning. Every time I felt that way, I found something new: confidence, clarity, kindness from a stranger. I stopped seeing lost as failure and started seeing it as part of the process. Travel taught me that you don't always need to know exactly where you're going. You just need to keep moving, stay open, and trust that you'll find your way, because you always do.